Hello and welcome to a QB Models review video for the LEGO Ferrari F1 Racer 1:8 scale model number 8674. If you enjoy this video, then please remember to subscribe, hit that like button and leave your comments down below. This video is brought to you by Quintessential Bricks. So here we have the Ferrari F1 Racer 1:8 scale model number 8674. Released in 2006, it would have retailed for £100, and for that you got 1,246 pieces and an official Ferrari license product. It is a big model, it is a beast of a car, and it looks absolutely superb. It comes in at about 62 centimeters long, 28 centimeters wide and 15 centimeters high. The model is based on the Ferraris of the 2002-2003 season. I would suggest looking at the instruction manual. It has one or two photos at the back of it, so you can see what the real cars will have looked like. These cars were absolutely magnificent and they dominated the seasons. The early 2000s Ferrari was absolutely dominant. So back then you had Ross Brawn, who was the technical director, and the chief designer was Rory Bryan, and they formed this partnership that made Ferrari absolutely dominant from a technical superiority point of view. And then into the mix you add the great Michael Schumacher. So this model is a great testament to the partnership of those individuals and of course the whole Ferrari team. So let's just talk a little bit about the physical appearance of this model. So it's beautifully designed, so full credit to the LEGO designers. They did a superb job on this model. Obviously it's in the Ferrari red, and interestingly enough, if you look at the artwork on the model that's shown on the box, that red is a slightly deeper red than the actual model is, and I think it's a shame that they couldn't get that slightly more deeper red to this model. It still looks absolutely fabulous, but the deeper red would have made it a bit more impactful, I think. It's got some black to it with the floor plan and the suspension details, which is really nicely done. And then it's got yellow for the suspension, which again, the suspension rocker arms are done really nice, and that's a really nice feature to it. Along with the silver wheels really make this model, and to finish it off it does have the white on the front wing. Regarding the colour scheme itself, as I say, overall it really is very impactful and very well done. And the only thing I would comment on, I think, is the pistons on the engine. When you see that a bit later, those pistons are in yellow. I personally would have liked to see that in dark grey. I don't see the need to have it in yellow. I know it stands out a bit more, but I think dark grey would have been a bit more truer to the model itself. The other thing I'll comment on is the stickers. There's a nice amount of stickers on this model. I personally, like a lot of LEGO enthusiasts, are not a big fan of stickers. However, they do add to the overall look of this model, and this model I have is over 13 years of age. So the stickers themselves are actually standing up quite well to the test of time. So the only exception is the stickers to the rear. These white stickers here, they have definitely significantly degraded over time. Now that could be because of the placement of it, and maybe the grease on your fingers more prone to eroding the quality of those stickers. But either way, that's the shame. But apart from that, the rest of the stickers are absolutely fine. One thing I don't like on this model is regarding the placement of these stickers on the front nose cone here, because they go over 3 pieces here and 5 pieces here, and I think that's the shame. I think if you do use stickers, they should only go onto one piece, not over multiple pieces. So that's the shame. The other thing, which just to point out things that maybe I don't like as much on this model, is on the front wing where you've got the white Technic fairing pieces here and here. I think if they could have used slightly larger pieces, that would have completed that front wing a lot better. Also, regarding the Technic red fairing pieces, it would have been nice if they put a piece here around where the driver sits, because there's no need to have that exposed like that. And also on this engine cowl here, the air intake here, maybe a piece there would have been nice. That said, the actual shape of this model is excellent. They've done a really good job. I think the use of these soft axle pieces here and here and here, just to show the shape of the model even better. It shows off the contours of the model. I think that's really well done. The other thing I really do like is how they captured this side pod, the bulbous nature of this side pod here. I think is really well done indeed. The way it just comes out and sweeps back in again. Beautifully done. Absolutely beautifully done. And the other point I like to mention is this car has working suspension. So the way that they've designed the suspension so it hasn't compromised the shape of the car is brilliantly done. I know this is quite a common technique now on LEGO models, on these F1 cars, but I just think it's absolutely brilliant. So overall, the actual shape design of the car is really well done. One thing as well I do like is they've kept visible some studded pieces, so the rear wing here, and also if I lift off the engine cowl, the Lego pieces up here. So for me, this is obviously a Lego model and it should remain true to the Lego, the Lego-ness. I know that's not a correct word. It should be true to its origins. So showing some studs I think is important on any Lego model. If I can just go on now to the construction of the model. So first of all, you build the front section here, the cockpit and the front suspension details. You then move on to the rear of the car, so you build the rear suspension details there. Next comes the engine, and the engine actually forms a structural component of this build, so it's integral to the overall rigidity of the chassis. So you cannot you cannot remove the engine without obviously breaking the car itself. After you've built the engine, then obviously comes the front nose cone, the rear wing and the engine cowl itself. So all very well done, very well built, beautifully designed. So as you saw, I've taken off the engine cowl there, and that now exposes the engine. So the engine is a mid-mounted engine, it's a V10 engine, has 5 pistons on each side of the car, mounted in a V shape. I do like the way that they've done the exhaust manifolds. I think that's a nice little feature on it, and it's very pretty. The other thing I'd just like to draw your attention to is that with this design you can remove the front nose cone. And the front nose cone is held on by these 4 little pins there. So again, it's just a nice little feature. Obviously in real life cars like this have little accidents, and the front nose cone needs to be replaced very quickly, and the way that they've actually built that into the design I think is a very nice little feature. And as you saw, it just pops on very easily indeed. Talking about the engine, if I show you underneath it, so what we have is the differential there, going through 3 or 4 little gears, so a little gear train going to this gear wheel here that then drives the crankshaft there. And as we've mentioned before, engine has got 10 pistons in a V configuration. It is so smooth, it's so well built and so well designed. You know, this is what you're paying your money for. So I think that's absolutely lovely, and it's quite nice also that you can see the crankshaft there. So that's nice, and obviously how it all works together. Obviously with the suspension you've got 2 CV joints here, constant velocity joints there, and that just enables the wheels to move up and down freely. Very nice indeed. Looking at the instructions, it's 140 pages thick. It has 63 steps to it, and the artwork, as you would expect, is of a good quality. So this is all part of the build experience, having good quality instructions. I did notice, and please be aware, that on page 50 and on page 62 there are 2 very small minor errors. On page 50 is to do with these 2 radiators in here and in here in the side pod. Just make sure that you put them the right way round. And on page 62 is to do with the suspension and fixing a ball joint in the suspension. Again, just make sure that you do get it into the right little hole in the strut arm. The next step along, just actually show it in the right hole. Looking at some of the technical features, it has 3 main features. It has the suspension, the working engine, and the steering. I've already talked about the working engine, and that's very smooth and that's very good. The suspension I think is absolutely amazing on this model. I really do like it. The suspension itself is independent, push rod activated torsion sprung suspension. So looking at the front of this model, you have the diagonal push rod here, and that push rod transfers a load, which is going a vertical load through a L-shaped rocker into a lateral load, which is then absorbed by these little suspension arms here. If I remove the rear cowling again, hopefully you can see the rear suspension here, and you can see these yellow components here making up the rocker arm there. So here we have a slightly better view of the rear suspension unit. So you can see the diagonal push rod here, that when the rear of the car is pushed down, moves this rocker arm here that transfers the vertical loading of the car into a horizontal load through these torsion springs here. So a beautiful design, really well executed by LEGO, and that is, I think, an outstanding feature. And the way that they've got just the right amount of resistance in these springs for this weight of the model is superb. Looking at the front of the car, taking this opportunity just to show you the suspension one more time in the front of the car and the lovely bounce it has there. So it's got a great recoil action here, beautifully weighted, really well designed, looks absolutely awesome. With the steering, you've got a steering wheel here that through a axle and gear train transfers this rotational energy applied here through a gear rack at the bottom here into a horizontal motion here. One thing I will say, the wheels are very wide, creates a lot of surface resistance on the ground. That puts a lot of strain as you try to turn the wheel here. So that's a shame, but I'm not sure how they could have got around that. From a playability point of view, it can be quite difficult to get your fingers in there to turn the steering wheel if you're moving the model. So I think if we just raise the camera up a fraction, this detail here, which I think on the real model is trying to mimic the cameras that would have been mounted up here, given the spectator a camera view from the driver's point of view. This here, I believe, could have been altered to have a hand of God steering mechanism, and that would have increased the playability so much. I fully appreciate it would have meant a redesign of the engine cowl here to facilitate that, but I do believe that that's something that they could have considered and would have made this model have a greater playability. So we've talked about the size, the shape, the construction and the technical features of this model. I think it's only right that we should also cover potential investment opportunities, I guess. So if you were to buy this model now, could you make money on it? I think, to be honest with you, the short answer is no, unless you could pick it up at a car boot sale, maybe buying it off somebody who didn't really appreciate the true value of this car. This model, when it first came out in 2006, was £100. These days now, 13 years later, if you had this model and it was brand new in box, never opened, and the box was in very good condition, you could probably get £350 for it. If you look at Bricklink, Brick Picker, websites like that, that's the sort of money they're talking about, and eBay as well. If you were to look at a set that's been used, then your price range is probably anywhere from £100 up to about £250. And the reason why that's such a wide price range is all dependent on the condition of the model, the stickers, the instruction manual and the box. So just buying the car by itself with no stickers and being complete, you could probably pick one up for about £100. Going upwards with the stickers, maybe £120, then with the instruction manual probably about £140. Include a box in it. If it's in a very bad condition box, we'll probably add another £10-15 onto it. A box that's in quite good condition, you're now probably looking in the range of about £180 for this set, and a box that's in immaculate condition, you're probably looking about £250 for the complete set. So if you had purchased this model 13 years ago for £100 and never ever played with it and just stored it away, treated it as an investment opportunity, then yes, you would make 3 times, maybe even 4 times the money that you spent on it. So with that in mind, is this a good investment these days? Probably not. I can't see this set going much more now than what I think it's reached its ceiling price. So this probably isn't really an investment opportunity unless you were to pick it up in a car boot sale. So to finish, this is a brilliant model. I've thoroughly enjoyed building it. It's got some great features to it. The suspension is absolutely sublime. The engine in it is very smooth. It moves very well. Testament to LEGO's quality, I believe. And it has working front steering as well. I think there are certain improvements that could have been made on the model, especially with the hand of God steering. I think would have been it would have been a blessing for this car. It would have really made so much difference to the playability for this model. If LEGO were to ever remake another Formula 1 model, maybe in the Technic series, I would love it if they could include a paddle operated gearbox. That would be absolutely brilliant. But notwithstanding all that, this is a superb model. I would highly recommend it. If you get the opportunity to buy one, please do. You will not be disappointed with it. It is a beautifully designed model. So that now concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, then please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I will be doing many more of these videos. What's your thoughts and observations on this model? Please leave a comment below. If there's anything that I could do better, then again let me know as well. That would be really appreciated. I really do welcome your feedback, and I also do really appreciate the time that you take in watching these videos. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I hope to see you soon again.